Time for a spiritual awakening. Time for a spiritual awakening.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Spiritual Awakening 101. My name is Jerry Yaakov, Reverend Yaakov, and I'm here to help you and to teach you and to minister to you as much as I can through the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit moves through each one of us in our minds. There is a place that's very special in our minds that we can access, and the access of the Holy Spirit is love. So we're willing to be a loving, conscious, awake person who is extending the Holy Spirit's love to ourselves and to everybody else. That's the nature of, I think, an awakening spirit and an awakening human being. Are we in touch with the Holy Spirit? Is the Spirit working through us as us? Are we willing to become one with the Holy Spirit and in turn one with God itself? Because God sent the Holy Spirit as our bridge to everybody else and to back to God. And that bridge is love and forgiveness, kindness and compassion. Everything that we've ever wanted is really bestowed upon us, upon our creation. And that was a beginningless and endless creation. It's in eternity. There's no question about that the Holy Spirit represents that bridge back to our eternal home that is within us. That's that heavenly home, God within us, in our minds. I can't overestimate the importance of knowledge of the working of the mind. The mind has really two parts to it. One part would be negativity or ego. The other is positivity or the Holy Spirit and love. And we get to choose based on our free will which one we want to access, experience, and perceive in our lives. This is the choice that we can make. Am I going to choose the ego, which is negative and fearful, or am I going to choose the Holy Spirit, which is really my true identity through God as love and happiness and joy? And that's the key. Well, today I'm going to be reading a little bit from Creative Ideas by Ernest Holmes. And here's an entry on page 126 in Creative Ideas by Ernest Holmes, and it's called I Experience Satisfaction. Starts out with a quote from the Psalms. This is Psalm 4, line 7. Thou hast put gladness in my heart. Well, this is exactly what we've been talking about. The Holy Spirit was placed in our mind, heart, to be accessed by us so that we know gladness. This is a day that the Lord has made. Let us be glad and rejoice in it. And that's the truth. That's what we're here to do. That's what we can do and we're willing to do when we practice. No matter what happens when I get up in the morning, I make sure that I'm making that free will decision for the Holy Spirit to guide my day and to make decisions for me. That's what I find most important. And then the Holy Spirit doesn't forget, of course. It's with me all day. There are times when I may forget, but there's this inner prompting, this soft voice, this gentle voice that says to me in such sweet tones, remember, Jerry, you're one with God. You're love. Teach only love. That's what you are. You are the truth. You are one with God, inseparable. And the Holy Spirit walks with you all through your day and all through your activities and all through your thoughts. Well, that's my day. And that can be your day if it isn't already, because the Holy Spirit is within all of us. It's a spiritual it's a spiritual miracle that every one of us has within our minds and hearts, and we have access to it. No matter what the world is like, no matter what the circumstances appear to be, we have that miracle within our minds. And as we access it within our minds, so is it in our experience in the world. That is the truth, the law of cause and effect. That's the truth, and so it is. Well, let's read a little bit further into Ernest Holmes and creative ideas. This is under I experience satisfaction. There's always a power operating through us, a presence inspiring, guiding, and sustaining us. We need to rely on this power, in this presence, and feel ourselves to be an outlet of immeasurable good. Because we are in this divine presence, and because it is in us, and because it has all power, we know that our thoughts are made manifest, perfectly demonstrating harmonious relationships and successful action in all our affairs. Well, that's the Holy Spirit. Now, you can call it anything you like. Give it the name that you like. Jesus, Yahweh, Krishna, Buddha, the Holy Spirit, Tao, all of these names, Brahman. We are all of that within us. The labels may be different, but the essence, the content is the same. And that's a power operating through us, a presence that's inspiring and guiding and sustaining us. And we can feel ourselves to be an outlet of immeasurable good. Teach only love, for that is what we are. Extend only forgiveness, and you will know true happiness wherever and however your day goes, regardless of the circumstances. Well, further on it says, and this is the prayer portion, I know that the creative law of good is infinite and has all power to accomplish. I know its whole desire for me is freedom and joy. This freedom and joy are satisfactorily and completely expressed in all my affairs, in all of my relations. There is nothing in me that can hinder this expression. I am conscious that there is an infinite wisdom directing me. Whatever I should know, I shall know. Whatever I should do, I shall do. Whatever belongs to me must come to me. Because infinite intelligence is within me and is mine now, I am compelled to recognize my greater good, to see more, to understand and accept and express more. I know the infinite creative law of good, and it expresses through me. It's always bringing complete satisfaction into my life. Now, that's an example of an affirmative prayer. It starts out by saying, I am the law of good in action. There is God within me. There is a presence within me that is omniscient and omnipotent and omnipresent. And I know that this can accomplish through me and as me everything and anything that I desire that's good, wholesome, holy, wonderful. And that this freedom brings joy. And it's in all my affairs. There are no exceptions, because that joy emanates from the mind, and it emanates to everything. Nothing is left out. There's nothing that can hinder this. This is the denial portion. What we're saying is that there's no obstructions, there's no obscurations or blocks to the awareness of this omniscience. It is so powerful, it is so present, it is so all-knowing that nothing can hinder it, and I open myself up to it. I am conscious that there is an infinite wisdom that is directing me. Whatever I should know, I will know it. Whatever I should do, I will do it. And wherever I belong, that must come to me, and I will be there to receive it. Because infinite intelligence is within me. It is mine now. And here's an important part too. We're acknowledging that we've already accepted it. It's already powerful and it's omnipresent. So there's no place where God is not. There's no spot where God is not. There's no place within my mind or my earthly or spiritual experience where God is not. It is filled. My external vista and my internal landscape are filled with the God of love, the God of joy, the God of hope, the God of everything I've ever wanted to do, be, and have. That's who I am. That's who you are. That's what this ministry is all about. Well, that's I Experience Satisfaction by Ernest Holmes. And it's a wonderful entry. So I so wish that we had a back and forth with an ability to have a dialogue, a conversation with questions and so forth. But this is a video, and so I'm going to present another reading. And just hoping that this is integrating into your mind and into your hearts as well. This one is a good one because it deals with associations, relationships. There's nothing more important than having harmonious, peaceful, loving relationships. My associations are harmonious. This is page 106 in Creative Ideas by Ernest Holmes. And here's a quote from Galatians chapter 5. Chapter 5, by love serve one another. Verse 13, by love serve one another. There is one Spirit incarnated in everyone, an immortal presence causing everyone to live. What a difference it would make in our human relationships if we tried to sense the full meaning of the divine incarnation in all people and adjusted our viewpoint to the truth that we are all bound together in the unity of God. Well, we've talked about this. There is a oneness that is inseparable. We're not able to separate from God or others in our true essence or content. Our hearts and minds are centered with each other through the Holy Spirit with God. And that's who I am. I can be that because I am that. I can have that because that's who I am. And I can extend that to others so that they know that they can be that and do that and have that as well, because that's who we all are in a unified universe of love and gratitude and holiness and power. Well, let's read on. While it may seem to be otherwise, it is still true that behind all this vast array of life, there can be but one common cause. There is only one God, one life, one mind, one Christ, one being, and I'm part of that. It's within me and I'm within it. And this is behind all the vast array of life, that there can be but one common cause, one universal mind, one infinite spirit, flowing into, through, and becoming everything. So the essence, the chi, the light is within all of us. It gives us the life energy that we feel. It gives us the life Christhood that we know that we are. It gives us everything that is in a state of beingness and an extension and evolution. There's nothing that's stagnant. Everything is circulating. Everything is extending. Everything is becoming. Everything is being. Everything is doing. Everything is having, returning to its source. And then the source puts it out again for sharing. So we need to share it. We need to extend it. We need to make sure that what we have, we make sure others are aware that they have, so that there's no idea that I only have what I take from others, or they have what they take from me. None of that is true. If anything, taking from others in a way that's thievery or by hook or by crook, that stops the flow in my mind. It doesn't stop the actual flow, which continues eternally and infinitely, but it does stop in terms of my own actualization or integration of it. My mind is stopping it. Well, I no longer meet people partially, but I open my thoughts and feelings to the truth that there is but one living spirit in, through, and all people. That divine presence is with the same impulse of love and life, and it manifests in infinite variations, and it is ever alike in all people. Knowing that the one who loves the most will live the most. So loving is the key. Loving the most, you live the most. Today I go forth to meet life as I feel it really is. I shall see only the divine presence in everyone. I'll sense and feel the one life in all. There is only one mind, one God, one life, one entity, expressing individuated as billions and billions and billions, but there is also a unity, so that while there's an interbeingness, there's also an individuation on the grandest scale that's possible. I affirm this presence that's within my mind, it's within myself and others, and I accept its beneficent action. So God is acting beneficently through me, as me, to others, and for me. There's no scarcity. There's no inability to be prosperous and abundant in a world in which the reflection of my entirety of mind, the infiniteness of my mind, is expressing and projecting out. So there's no scarcity. There's no way in which my negative thoughts have any result whatsoever. They are for naught. And so false effects go back to nothingness. It's only the truth that is cause, and it's only the truth that has effects, and that's abundance, that's love, that's healing, that's well-being, that's divinity. So I affirm this presence in myself and others, and I accept its beneficent action. I act as though it were now manifesting as love. Therefore, I know that it will be, because it already is. Well, here again, we're acknowledging that everything is created and expanding, created and expanding. There's never a gap. There's never a stoppage. Now, the stoppage can occur as a thought in my mind with negativity, but the truth is that the good, the cause, is still creating. This one God is omniscient and omnipotent and forever evolving and giving and I'm receiving. That's the key to my ideation. I'm giving, I'm receiving. I'm receiving, I'm giving. And what is it ultimately that's behind all of that but God's love? God is so loving that it gives of itself. And I am a creature of God, made in the likeness and image of God. So I am similarly creating, co-creating, giving, and receiving. And so finally it says, therefore I know that it will be, because it already is. Every affirmative prayer treatment says, I'm grateful and thankful because it's already present. I may not see it yet. I may not have the perceptive ability to see it. I may not have the consciousness yet to be aware of it present, but everything is present and here for my good and for the good of everyone in the world, in the cosmos, in all universes, in every dimension. There are many mansions in God's house, and they are all filled with abundance. They're all filled with everything that everyone would need. God is its in entirety, and its entirety is then given away to everyone in creation. That was the nature of heaven. The Garden of Eden had everything. The Garden of Eden is still symbolically our home. The Garden of Eden is where we return as the prodigal son, when we let go of any negativity, any negative thoughts. There's nothing that we are lacking. But we have to keep affirming that. Even if things appear to be lacking, it's not true. It's just coming our way. I'm waiting. Okay, that's true. I may be waiting, but I'm waiting with a miracle-mindedness and expectancy that it will arrive. Because, as it says here, I know that it will be because it already is. And that's the way I love to live my life, day in and day out. One moment, one instant at a time, affirming it, acknowledging it, loving it, sharing it, being grateful for it, reveling in it. And that goes on forever. There's no stoppage. There's no end to God because God is infinite. God is eternal. And everything authentic that God creates is similarly authentic, eternal, and infinite. God creates only in its own likeness and image. Only the false that is not true and has no substance and has no effect goes back to nothingness. because nothingness really comes from no cause. God is cause, and of course creates in its likeness and image, and has declared it good and very good. And so do I. Well, let's read one more of these entries. We'll make this a short one because we're running out of time here. But this one is, I accept perfect life. And there's a quote from James chapter 5, verse 15. The prayer of faith shall save the sick. Now I accept perfect life because well-being and wholeness and holiness is my lot. No matter what appearances are, they can be reversed. They can be uplifted and healed in the name of the Holy Spirit. And I declare that to be true. The prayer of faith shall save the sick. I accept perfect life. Now, Ernest Holmes writes, when we say that our body is spiritual, we are not denying our physical body. The physical is included within the spiritual. If the spirit or divine intelligence has seen fit to give us a physical body, it would be absurd to think that our body is an illusion unworthy of our attention. Rather, we should think of it as a spiritual instrument, and every statement we make about it, or belief we hold about it, which accepts spiritual perfection as the substance of the body, tends to heal. And that's when it's real, when I give it a real purpose. The body is not real, and it does not identify me when I give it a false purpose, an egoic purpose of simply acquisition, of acquiring for my own earthly pleasures. That's not true, and so the body isn't true. But when I assign the truthful purpose to the body, that which God has created, extending love, communicating love, helping people, giving people kindness, giving people forgiveness for that which they do not know that they're doing, giving myself, as I identify as a body, the same kindness and forgiveness that I give others. Then my body has a reality, and it's useful to the Holy Spirit and can be used in that way and for that purpose. Well, my body is the temple of the living Spirit. It is a spiritual substance now. Every part of my body is in harmony with the living Spirit within me. The life of the Spirit flows through every atom of my being, vitalizing, invigorating, and renewing every part of my physical body. There's a pattern of perfection at the center of my being, which is now operating through every organ, function, action, and reaction. My body is forever renewed by the Spirit, and I am now made vigorous and whole. The life of the Spirit is my life, and its strength is my strength. I am born of the Spirit. I am in the Spirit. I am the Spirit made manifest. And so it is. Well, I read this back in October of 2014, and I wrote a short prayer treatment to go along with it. There is one God, one Spirit, one creative power in my life. I am the expression of this divine intelligence and this agent I call God. As its creation, I am as God, perfect love, perfect substance, in a perfect state. Every cell of my being is a living expression of this perfection. I'm alive as good, as God, as love, as kindness, as beauty. And so I joyously celebrate my beingness for good as God. And so it is. And so it is, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. I know that a lot of this may be new to some of you, and then a lot of this is so familiar that it's just like your beating heart in your next breath. You think it, you act it, you accept it, you are being it. And this is, of course, the way. This is the way of the life and the truth and the being that we are as spiritual angels here in this dimension. We experience the three-dimensional world and the five senses, but it's not our origins. We're in the world, but not of the world. So being in the world, we have work to do. We can awaken more fully. We can be more conscious of our role in our angelic role as God's creation. That is the truth. And that's what makes every day so purposeful, so meaningful, so heavenly divine, so blissful. I'm so grateful that we have this ministry. And the ministry is growing. Every day I know more and more people are being touched by the Holy Spirit. More and more people are awakening to the Holy Spirit within them. More and more people are being the instruments, both bodily and through their minds and hearts, to deliver this message to those in their own families so that they undo the fear, they undo the divisiveness and the seeming separation that really doesn't exist. All of this is a made-up illusion that we have to replace with the truth. And the truth is love. The truth will set us free. Love casts out all the fear that's of false origin and so has no reality. What begins with a false origin must then be in effect false and goes back to nothingness. There's nothing for us to be afraid of, only the fear of not doing the work. And that's a false fear as well. You can't help but do the work in one fashion or another. God has created you in its design function to do this work. Now, whether you're doing it at a level that one would consider a first stage or a latter stage, where we're advanced as a teacher and as an angel, doesn't matter. Taking baby steps or taking giant strides, it's all the same thing because the origin of it is God. So if I'm taking small steps because I'm just starting out in this life, if you will, of spirit, okay, then I'm going to meet people who understand it at that level and are touched by it in a way that makes a difference to them. And I express it in a way that's important for them. And it's important for me because I'm learning it at the first stages of the awakening of Christ and the Holy Spirit. If I'm taking larger steps because I'm more advanced and I'm speaking to people who are grasping it at a higher level of salvation and atonement and the awareness of actualization, this is good too because I'm filling that niche. Wherever I need to be, God places me. Wherever I need to be, God gives me the words to speak. Whatever I need to do, God gives me the wherewithal to do it. This is the truth, and the truth has set us free. Well, thank you so much for joining us. As I like to close, I'll acknowledge the NECAT Nation, the network for putting us on the air. I acknowledge you, the viewer. I acknowledge Candace Adelson, my lovely wife and videographer and editor. And I thank Lisa Firestone for the music accompaniment on this show. And so, shalom, peace, namaste. We'll see you next time.